Hey, you speaking to me? I don't see nobody else standing here, so you must be speaking to me.
Tonight, I'm announcing that I will direct all states, tribes, and territories to make all adults, people 18 and over, eligible to be vaccinated no later than May 1. Let me say that again. All adult Americans will be eligible to get a vaccine no later than May 1. That's much earlier than expected. Let me be clear. That doesn't mean everyone's going to have that shot immediately, but it means you'll be able to get in line beginning May 1. Every adult will be eligible to get their shot. To do this, we're going to go from 1 million shots a day that I promised in December, before I was sworn in, to beating our current pace of 2 million shots a day, outpacing the rest of the world. Secondly, at the time when every adult is eligible in May, we will launch, with our partners, new tools to make it easier for you to find the vaccine and where to get the shot, including a new website that will help you first find the place to get vaccinated and the one nearest you. No more searching day and night.
In the Great American Rescue Plan speech, if you are into statistics, the president said the word faith 3 times. Faith in government again, and faith in ourselves. And he used the word God only 4 times. The first appeal, or wink, as we say in political communication, to those in the faith community, comes near the very beginning, where he says, that's why I'm using every power I have as President of the United States to put us on a war footing to get the job done. It sounds like hyperbole, but I mean the war footing. And thank God we are making some real progress now. In my first full day in office, I outlined for you a comprehensive strategy to beat this pandemic. We have spent every day since attempting to carry it out. The entire paragraph talks mostly about the word I, with a little my, a few we's, and a little us. But he did put the thank God we are making progress in there. And after that, God is not mentioned until the finale, with the flourish like a fireworks display as he rips off 3 machine gun style appeals to the deity, as he says. So God bless you all, and please God give solace to all of those people who lost someone. May God protect our troops. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I look forward to seeing you. 4 uses of God, 3 uses of faith, no usage of the word church, but there is one paragraph inserted to address places of worship. And it says this: with new guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, it came out on Monday. It means simply this: millions and millions of grandparents who went months without being able to hug their grandkids can now do so. And the more people are fully vaccinated, the CDC will continue to provide additional guidance on what you can do in the workplace, places of worship, with your friends, as well as travel. But the big question for this piece of presidential oratory is perhaps how you felt afterwards. Did you feel confident? Did you feel the president was in control of the pandemic? Did you feel more confident than under the last administration? Did you feel that chemistry, if that is even possible? Well, according to the president, at this very moment, so many of them, our fellow Americans on the front lines of this pandemic, trying to save lives, and still they are forced to live in fear for their lives just walking down the streets in America. It's wrong, it's un-American, and it must stop. He continues. We've lost so much over the last year. We've lost family and friends. We've lost businesses and dreams we spent years building. We lost time with each other, and our children have lost so much time with their friends, time with their schools. No graduation ceremonies this spring, no graduation from college, high school, and moving up ceremonies. But he also gets folksy and says, look, we know what we need to do to beat this virus. Tell the truth. Follow the scientists. The science, work together, put trust and faith in our government to fulfill its most important function, which is protecting the American people. No function more important. We need to remember the government isn't some foreign force in a distant capital. No, it's us. All of us, we the people. And were you getting a warm and fuzzy? He goes on. For you and I, that America thrives when we give our hearts, when we turn our hands to common purpose. This is all science. And right now, my friends, we are doing just that. And I have to say, as your president, I am grateful, scientifically grateful to you. Last summer, I was in Philadelphia and I met a small business owner, a woman, and I asked her, I said, what do you need most? Never forget what she said to me. No, she said, she looked in my eye, looked me in the eye, and she said, I just want the truth. The truth, just tell me the truth. And if you believe that the president actually saw a woman that told him that, then you need help. But he continues, think of that, my fellow Americans. You are owed nothing less than the truth. And for all of you asking when things will get back to normal, here is the truth. The only way to get our lives back, to get our economy back on track, is to beat the virus. If you didn't know that. You have been hearing me say that while I was running. In the last 50 days, I have been president, but this is one of the most complex operations, a lot of science, we have ever undertaken as a nation in a long time. But as an educated person, did you feel you heard the truth? When the president talked about fear, if you're waiting to get a vaccine, waiting for the next elevator so you can ride by yourself, riding alone in a car with windows rolled up and wearing a mask, thinking about your travel plans after the pandemic, he definitely told you a truth about what you can relate in a pandemic. And researchers at the University of San Francisco, in the Bay Area from where the vice president came from, and at their data institute back at the beginning of the pandemic, reminded every governor that lockdown, that pandemics are traditionally times associated with fear, confusion, and despair. And those who know a little bit about interrogation know that you can do a lot with people who are in fear, confusion, and despair. And so when the president talks to you about fear, he probably delivered a message to your home address. Especially when he said, with the large numbers of persons of color who may have even shouted amen when the president said, And we've been focused on serving people in the hardest hit communities of this pandemic: Black, Latino, Native American, and rural communities. Maybe you found a little solace and comfort and assurance when he said, I need you to get vaccinated when it's your turn. And when you can, find an opportunity to help your family. It's about family. Your friends. It's about your friends. The friends we have gotten away from during the pandemic. Your neighbors get vaccinated as well. Because here's the point. It's always the point. If we all do this, if we do our part, we do this together by July 4th, wonderful holiday, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout and a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. The president said, talk to your family, friends, neighbors, the people you know best who have gotten the vaccine. Talk to those people. We need everyone to get vaccinated. We need everyone, and that means you, to keep washing their hands, stay socially distant, and keep wearing the masks as recommended by the CDC. Because even if we devote every resource we have beating this virus and getting back to normal, depends on national unity. And it's interesting that the president says washing your hands, because there's been no instances recorded where anybody ever got COVID-19 by touching a doorknob, a sink, or a toilet seat. No what they call formite indirect transmission. None. But wash your hands, because it's self-sanitizing. Stay socially distanced, because it kind of makes sense to you that if somebody is infectious, then you want to be away from them. Keep wearing masks, even though back in 2010, under the Obama administration, we determined pretty definitively that they do not work in terms of preventing you from getting sick. But they do a little bit in terms of providing a simple barrier if people have droplets that are being expelled. I mean, that's the science. But he goes on and he says a lot of things. But rather than using pep rally words like unity, and we can do this, and a finale flourish that mentions something about God, rather than stirring up fear and distrust, let's actually for a minute use the science and give that woman who the president claims he heard, who said that she wanted to hear the truth, and in the science, which is as boring as it may sound or appear, the science is found in the reports that most people never read, not hashtags, nightly news flashes, slogans, or anything else. And fortunately, it's not even very difficult science or math. Most people are familiar with the general concept that if you have an infectious or contagious or communicable disease, that means that if you or someone else is infected, then they might infect others. We learned this in the schoolyard, cootie shots for life. And you don't have to get much more technical than that for those terms. But in science, we try to answer the more probing questions about how exactly that occurs. And one of those words that scientists use is viral load. Viral load. Viral load. And it is pretty much what it sounds like. That is the amount of virus that an infected person can shed into the environment to potentially infect others. And when this occurs, scientists actually use that very simple term. They call it shedding. You shed a viral load, just like a dog sheds fleas. But the really important thing for an infectious disease control expert, for the purpose of flattening the curve or preventing the spread, is that amount of pathogen being shed, be it a virus or bacteria or whatever, that is required to actually get you sick. Because even before you get vaccinated, your body that God created actually has a little immunity that is organized in general support to attack any invasive pathogen. You're going to cough and sneeze, exhibiting those asymptomatic signs of infection you don't know you're having. And your immune system is going to find one of at least 21 interferons sending out signals to the cells in your body that will trigger symptoms like muscle aches and even fever. But some pathogens, be they viruses or bacteria or whatever, are so weak that just a dab will not do you. And most scientists are at least in agreement that if only one coronavirus particle got into your nose or mouth, into your ear, it will not kill you or infect you, because it needs the support of its friends in the virus community, the coronavirus mob, working together to get through this together to defeat you. And if you were to take a head count of every coronavirus in the coronavirus crime family that was needed to get you infected, that number would be what the scientists describe as the infectious dose. When you know this number, you know exactly how many coronaviruses the mask or shield on your face actually has to block. We know that a window in the speaker's lobby is going to break after a certain number of hits with a blunt instrument. But maybe one is not going to do that. Same thing with the coronavirus. There is a certain number that you're going to hit. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? It's the same concept. And when you know this number, the infectious dose, you know exactly what reaction a vaccine needs to prepare your immunity system to overcome and repel. You don't want to be the town who called up the National Guard vaccines to go up against the Rambo coronavirus. And the fact is, or the truth is, that even after a year, not even one scientist, not even Dr. Fauci, who the president described as one of the most distinguished and trusted voices in the world, can tell anyone the infectious dose of COVID-19, coronavirus. And we know this because we actually asked him directly. We weren't scared of the coronavirus. We weren't scared of Dr. Fauci. We haven't been scared of anybody in this pandemic because we want the truth. And if he doesn't know this answer, it doesn't matter and borders on fraud when he's assured us that the vaccines are safe, because you need that number. If everyone jumped off a cliff, would you be convinced that it was safe? Would you jump off the cliff just to do that together for unity? Then good luck with that, because my mama didn't raise no fool. And so we have prepared a lawsuit to go to federal court that we're going to be filing in court to sue the president on the vaccine issue. The first vaccine litigation in the Commonwealth of Virginia and America. We filed the first challenge to the lockdown orders back in April, and we are still in court and have not given up because Ralph Northam, the nation's only physician serving as a governor, decided to evade the sheriff to bring him into court, and that in Virginia is called contempt of court. So I don't get a warm and fuzzy feeling. I don't see a success story when he says to trust him and get vaccinated, wear a mask or do anything. We were the first to file a challenge to the facial coverings mandate, and we are still in court on appeal because the nation's only doctor serving as a governor decided to run away from the United States Marshal, and that is a felony punishable by up to 20 years in prison. And generally people do not commit felonies when they are being honest and telling the truth. And we went to the United States Supreme Court and are still wrangling with that issue. But we were the only ones in Virginia to do that. And so here is the truth. My name is Major Mike Webb. And by God, I am running for governor of Virginia. I ask every Virginian and every American true to, like the motto of the infantry, follow me, and we shall overcome. Honest. This advertisement was authorized by Mike Webb. And y'all come back now. Here.